Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Jeremy Henderson, and I am blessed to be the pastor of Butler Church of the Nazarene right here in Butler, Missouri. I'm also blessed to share with you what I hope will be an encouraging word from the Bible. Now, to get us started today, I want to tell you about my great-grandfather, my great-grandpa Davis. Now, Grandpa Davis, he was a pastor, a preacher, evangelist, and church planter with the Free Will Baptist Association for 60 years. And throughout his ministry, God did some amazing things through him. But to me, this amazing man of God was Grandpa. And my Grandpa Davis, he had an amazing way of communicating life-transforming truth in down-to-earth, everyday ways. He was a sought-after preacher and evangelist, and he was well respected by his peers. But the thing I remember about my Grandpa Davis the most was his humility. And now that I've been a pastor for 24 years, I can see that Grandpa's humility was one of the keys to the harmony and the happiness that just naturally flowed into our family and into the churches that he pastored. You know, I would say that happiness oftentimes comes as a result of harmony. And harmony, more times than not, is actually a result of humility. And if you want to be a humble person, one of the central things that you have to learn how to do is to ask yourself the question that my Grandpa Davis would ask me. He'd say, Jeremy, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do in this problem? What would Jesus do for that person who is hurting? What would Jesus do at your office? What would Jesus do in your marriage or in your family? You know, if you make a habit of asking that question, you're going to come up with a humble answer that not only builds harmony and happiness, but it's going to stay away difficulty, defeat, bitterness, and resentment. So, the question is, what does it mean to act like Jesus? Well, in Philippians 2, we're actually given 3 examples from the life of Jesus. First, don't demand what you think you deserve. Philippians 2:6 tells us, though he was God, meaning Jesus, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Now, this is such a counterintuitive way to live, and it's countercultural to give up our rights to something. Now, yes, we have rights, but I've found that there are other ways to having our needs met rather than by demanding our rights. Did you know it's actually possible to be tender without being a doormat? You can be understanding without being demanding. Secondly, look for ways that you can serve. You know, Philippians 2:7 tells us that Jesus gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave, and he was born as a human being. And if we want to be like Jesus, we're going to have to learn to serve. And serving is a habit that anyone can develop. And the good news is it doesn't start in the big things of life, but in the small. Our humility is revealed to God each day in the little things, and those little things eventually come out in big ways. Here's another way to think about it. Your character is revealed in the great crises of your life, but it's built in the little day-to-day things, like keeping your word or returning a grocery cart to the cart corral. Number 3, do what's right, even if it's painful. In Philippians 2:8, we're actually told that Jesus humbled himself in obedience to God, and he died a criminal's death on a cross. And if we want a clear picture of what it means to act like Jesus, we've got to look at what he did in the midst of pain. Did you know even on the cross, Jesus was understanding? He said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. He didn't demand his rights, but he trusted God in the midst of the injustice that he was enduring. And he even looked for ways to serve on the cross. In his final moments, he looked after the needs of his mother. And my friends, Jesus, he was a humble servant in every situation. He was the ultimate model of humility, and God gave him the greatest honor in the universe. And I want you to know that God will honor your humility too. He will use it to build harmony, and ultimately will bring you happiness. Well, God bless you all. Thank you so much for taking the time to share in this encouraging word with me. You know, I'd like to invite you to join me in the Butler Church of the Nazarene family. this coming Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. for worship. You see, you belong at Butler Church of the Nazarene. It's a warm and loving family of faith where you can discover belief in Jesus. You can become more like Him. You can build your life upon the solid foundation of His Word. God bless you all, and I hope to see you Sunday at 10:30 a.m. at Butler Church of the Nazarene. God bless.